friends, welcome back to Food Prep Guide. Today's video was inspired by our recent health crisis and stay at the hospital. And when we came home, I really felt the need to just coast and not really jump immediately back into all of my routines, which let me cook from scratch pretty easily and quickly. But a lot of habits and routines go into that, and I just wasn't ready to jump back into meal planning and my once monthly grocery run. I really didn't have the energy to cook from scratch and just the brain energy that goes into those decisions. So I found myself Googling like quick shortcuts to make meals that aren't super duper processed. And for the first time in a very long time, I found myself browsing the freezer section. I cannot tell you the last time that I did that. I don't even remember. But I found myself trying to figure out how can I get quick meals on the table, and I'm willing to compromise a little bit, but I don't want straight up TV dinners, super duper processed. So what are some healthy shortcuts that I can make to still put a decent meal on the table? And I want to bring you 7 of our favorites that we have tried over the last 2 to 3 weeks. And some of them are going to be making it into our regular rotation because they were just that easy and just that good. So let's go ahead and jump into the first one, which is a ravioli dinner spread. This one is going to be your typical bag of frozen ravioli stuffed with cheese, a pasta sauce, and then some sort of veggie. We did some green beans. I really have been enjoying the freezer section, the brand Better Goods, which is just pretty much only whole foods. They're seasoned really, really nicely. And I have picked up a whole bunch of those and just throwing them onto a skillet or onto a baking sheet and roasting them. But for this particular dish, we went with green beans, and then our garlic bread in a jar. And it's actually not a garlic bread in a jar, it's just our multi-purpose, what we call our master bread dough. We prepped those. I already had many of those on the shelf, and together with a bread machine, I'm able to just dump and go and have bread on the shelf really quickly. We really enjoyed the pull-apart garlic bread. I think that's the one we've been doing the most lately. I haven't really got back into making sandwich bread yet, but the garlic bread paired really well with so many of the dishes that we had, and just having those mixes on the shelf was so helpful. That recipe comes from our Mix and Jars cookbook if you're not familiar with that. So that wrapped up our first meal. The thing that I'm going to take away from that meal is really those frozen side dishes. And y'all know my wheels are already turning on how I can make my own pre-seasoned packets from our garden veggies next summer. I'm already kind of taking notes and trying to figure out what to do with that, especially the green beans, since we don't love canned green beans. I've done frozen green beans in the past, but they were just straight green beans. They weren't seasoned in any way. I want to say it was the Green Giant brand. We've been sticking mostly with Better Goods, but the Green Giant brand I think had a garlic seasoned green bean. The ingredients were very clean, and that's the one that I'm going to try to mimic and copy with my own little freezer packets this summer. I'm excited about that. Okay, so the next meal is a meal that we have always had in our rotation, and I definitely pulled it out during this season of just needing to rest and coast, and that is our 7-layer dip. Now it's called 7 layers because if you were to search it on the internet, it has 7 layers, but we take off the olives, we take off the onions, like we've taken off a bunch, so really ours is like a 4 or 5-layer dip. But it basically follows the same premise. You've got your bean dip. It's vegetarian. We don't put meat on it. A lot of dips do put ground beef, but we just do beans. And then the sauce mixture is a creamy blend of sour cream, mayonnaise, and taco seasoning. In the past, sometimes I will do just sour cream and taco seasoning. It just depends on how much sour cream I have and if I'm needing to stretch it. If I don't really need to stretch it, then I'll just do straight up sour cream. But making that creamy kind of dip layer on top of the bean dip is really what makes this dish craveable and what everybody loves about it. And then it's just vegetables on top of that. So we typically do shredded lettuce. Then we do either a diced tomatoes or a pico de gallo mixture. And then we top it with shredded cheese after that. And then it's just scooping it with chips. You can serve it just in a bowl and make it like a burrito bowl, but you can also just make that platter and then have tortillas set out, and people can scoop up that filling and put it in their tortilla shell. So it's pretty, you can eat it different ways, and it's just really easy. It doesn't take any cooking at all, especially if you purchase the pinto beans and the refried beans format, which is that's the shortcut. So y'all probably know that we can our own beans, and we purchase our beans in bulk in their dried state. And I can my own beans from dried. But in order to make this recipe, I need to make sure that I have canned beans on the shelf, but then blend them up with onions, garlic, seasonings, and then kind of fry them up a little bit to get that refried bean flavor, run an immersion blender through it. So it does take some thought, it takes some time, and I was just like, nope, not doing any of that. And so the shortcut that I went with was I just went ahead and bought the refried beans from the store, which made this dish extremely fast. So I might keep a couple cans of that on the shelf just in the back for nights when everybody wants that, but I don't feel like going through the process of refried bean cooking. But I don't know, we'll see. The frugal part of me doesn't want to do that, but we'll see. Okay, so the third dish that we really enjoyed was a spinach and ricotta gnocchi. This isn't a full meal, so every now and then our family does just a snack night where we just kind of snack a little bit, and we don't do a full course meal with like a meat and 2 sides or anything like that. And this spinach and ricotta gnocchi was so good. I've already gone back and purchased 2 more bags of it. The ingredients are really clean. I think there's 1 or 2 ingredients that we didn't love. One of them was an oil. I can't remember if it was soy or sunflower, but typically we don't do those in our house. We stick to avocado oil and coconut oil. But other than that, the ingredient list was pretty clean and they were absolutely delicious. I did look into making them myself and decided it was going to be way too tedious. We do make potato gnocchi for our Olive Garden chicken and gnocchi copycat recipe. And that is just like instant potatoes with some water and some flour rolled up in balls and boiled. But this is like stuffing it, and I don't even know how I would do that good. If y'all have any ideas, if y'all make stuffed gnocchi, give me all the tips because that stuff was good. We're definitely going to be putting that in rotation. And we serve that alongside vegetables. Those roasted vegetable bags that I mentioned earlier, we would just throw those gnocchi on. It takes about 10 minutes in the skillet with a little bit of butter. That's all you do to cook it. If you have a microwave, you can do that. We don't use microwaves. But just throwing that and then throwing the roasted vegetables on a sheet pan in the oven, and boom, dinner was ready with literally no time at all as far as me having to cook. So winner, winner. Okay, so the fourth meal that we went back to is shortcut tacos. Obviously, if y'all are friends of the channel, y'all know we do a Tex-Mex night pretty frequently, usually Taco Tuesday. I know, so cliche, but keeps the meal planning nice and simple. And normally I will pull off preserved goods off of the shelf. So we might have our canned chicken, we might have our canned rabbit, we might have a jar of salsa. Of course, we can all of our own beans, and so taco night really does come together easy anyway. But most of the time when I do tacos, I am cooking from raw chicken, and I'm either baking it, or I'm doing it in my crock pot, or I'm doing it in an Instant Pot, and I'm using a couple frozen chicken thighs. And so I wanted to skip that step because, again, I'm just trying to be as relaxed as possible. And so I went and bought the rotisserie prepackaged chicken. Now let's talk about that for just a second. I went to the store originally thinking I'm just going to buy rotisserie chickens, because buying rotisserie chicken is already like a cheap shortcut, right? It's already cooked. But here's what I know about myself. I know that I would pull all the meat off of that chicken, see the bones, and feel compelled to make bone broth, because I just know that about myself. I really hate wasting food, and if I see an opportunity to get 2 or 3 products out of one, I'm gonna do it. And I knew if I had all of those bones, I would end up canning, and I just didn't want to do all that. I really needed my brain to rest, my body to rest, and I thought, you know what, I'm not even going to put that temptation in front of me. So I skipped the rotisserie chickens, but even just that alone is a shortcut. But I am going to keep 1 to 2 of those tubs in my fridge at all times. I'm going to try to, because it just made super short work of last minute meals. And the ingredients are decent. The price is decent. I want to say they were $5 or $6, which is, you know, I'm used to paying $7 to $8 for like a 10-pound bag of frozen chicken thighs, and the leg quarters, not thighs, leg quarters. So that's a little bit painful to know that I'm just getting this tiny little carton, but it's a trade-off. You're paying for the convenience, and I'm okay with that sometimes. So I think I'm going to get one to two of those each month and add that to my monthly rotation because it really was so handy to have. Okay, this next meal is is this number 5? Yep, number 5 is the most processed meal out of all of them. I did go ahead and pick up a Stouffer's enchilada family-sized dish. The ingredients are not great. I probably am never going to do it again, but it really was one of those things where I'm like, I've got to have something that I can just rip off the box and put it in the oven and be done with it. And that was a good option for that. Okay, so number 6, I don't think I have any footage of that, but number 6 is another pasta dish. Do I have it? No. Oh, I do have footage of that. I'll insert footage for that. Is a chicken, broccoli, and cheese stuffed tortellini dish. So this is another pasta dish that was really easy to make. This was a refrigerated pasta and not frozen, so it tasted a lot fresher. The ingredients were pretty good. Again, most of these have 1 or 2 ingredients that I don't love, but it is what it is. I'm okay with it short term. And I just did that really quick chicken that I just told you about, tossed that in. We had broccoli on hand, so I went ahead and chopped that and put that in. If I didn't have broccoli, maybe I had carrots, maybe I had spinach. I mean, any kind of vegetables that could have gone into that dish, I would have put into that dish. We just had broccoli, so it kind of turned into like a Alfredo, chicken broccoli Alfredo kind of thing with the tortellini. That's kind of what it turned into. And it was really, really good. I don't know if I'll have that pasta dish again because we stock pasta in bulk and it's super duper cheap, and just buying the stuffed tortellini is so much more expensive. So probably won't do that again, but it was very nice to have on hand. It tasted great, and again, it was an incredibly easy shortcut meal. Okay, so our last one is one that we have done multiple times. I don't have footage of it because we've been doing it so often that I don't even think about taking my phone out, because usually when I'm doing that, it's like I really don't feel great, and I definitely don't want to be on camera or trying to deal with my filming equipment and all of that. But this has been one of our favorites. So again, the star of the show, the chicken that I've already been talking to y'all about, and I've mentioned the Better Goods roasted vegetable blend. They have several flavors or different vegetable blends, but this one is the Brussels sprout roasting medley. It's Brussels sprouts, yellow and red bell peppers, onions, and mushrooms, and it is so good. And it's one of those that you open the bag, throw it on a baking sheet, roast it at 425 degrees for what, 20 minutes? 20. That's a stovetop. It comes together in 8 minutes on the stovetop, but I have been roasting them. It doesn't even have instructions for roasting. That's weird. It's called a roasting medley. But anyway, the ingredients are fantastic for this brand. I don't love the canola oil. That's like I said, 1 or 2 ingredients in all of these, but let me read you the ingredients for these. Grilled Brussels sprouts, grilled red peppers, grilled yellow peppers, grilled onions, grilled mushrooms, 1% or less of olive oil, sunflower oil, and canola oil. And I'm just like, why not stick with the olive oil? Why'd you have to throw all that other stuff in there? But okay. Salt, pepper, granulated garlic, and onion powder. So take out those oils that aren't the best, and this is a very nice dish. This has also inspired me to try to figure out how I can make my own pack like this. I haven't had wonderful success growing Brussels sprouts. I've grown them for 2 years, and every year I only get enough for fresh eating, like maybe 1 to 3 meals. Definitely not enough to stock my freezer with. So I would definitely have to purchase that in bulk from someone who does grow a lot of it. Or I just need to keep on practicing and get better at it. That's another option. But that combination of roasted vegetables and pulled chicken from the rotisserie kind of chickens have been one of our go-to meals. And those are the 2 things that I'm going to continue stocking. I'm not going to lean too heavily on them, but just having them on hand have been such a blessing during the season. If you have been praying for Rami, thank you so much. A quick update. As far as the meningitis goes, he continues to heal wonderfully for that. Brain scans continue to be really great. He has caught RSV and it turned into a pneumonia. He does not have a full-blown like severe case of pneumonia. They have told me it is unimpressive, which means in doctor speak that it's not super concerning, but it is there and he is being treated for it. So if y'all could pray that the pneumonia would clear up and not progress, and that he would heal quickly, we would really appreciate that. Thank y'all. That's all for today, and we will see you next time. Bye.